Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is all about a new role which has been found by Geeky Eerie over on whatseries.com. Now this particular person is Gary Beadle. Now we've known he's got a role in the second season of The Wheel of Time for quite a while, but what that role was we weren't sure, but that is now being confirmed thanks to Geeky Eerie, and we now know that he is in fact going to be playing ELYAS on The Wheel of Time. Now, just to quickly and very briefly go over his kind of acting credentials, he would be most famous or recognised for his role on EastEnders, which is a UK British soap. It's been running for decades and decades, so it's really well established, one of the most viewed television shows in the UK. So he's got a lot of experience behind him, and of course it's not just on EastEnders that he's got his experience. He's got vast levels of experience from, of course, theatre and other shows and films that he's obviously also had roles in. Now, there's quite a few interesting things to take away from this particular announcement. Number one, of course, is the quite obvious fact that he's going to be introduced much later on into the story than where he is in the book series, because of course we've gone over all the book material from the Eye of the World, and we're now for this second season moving on to material from books 2 and 3. So it's going to be interesting to see where and how they introduce him in this second season, but I do think it is very obvious how they will be going about that, and that all, I believe, came about with what went on with Barney Harris leaving the show back in season 1, and then having to change around the storylines for both him, Matt, and Perrin, with Perrin now taking over Matt's season 2 storyline. So that's where ELYAS is going to come in. Of course, Perrin now is taking over the role of Matt in terms of going for the Horn of Villiers, and so I believe they've done a secondary thing here with this casting announcement, and that is of course cut Hurin from the show entirely. At least that is what I am led to believe from this, and just the way things have been planned out for this second season. I think obviously he has, in a sense, the same set of skills needed to track down the Horn of Villiers. Of course, he will be using his kind of wolf brother abilities that are, naturally at his disposal, much in the same way that Perrin is. I believe that's the way and the reasoning behind why they're going to go down that route. Because, of course, if you remember in the book series, when we are in that kind of particular moment, it isn't just Rand and Matt. Perrin is also along for this, hunt for the horn in the Great Hunt. And Hurin is a bit suspicious of Perrin, because Perrin, is basically doing his job, but in a completely, what's the word here? A completely different way and manner to which Hurin is not accustomed to and doesn't understand. So he's very suspicious of Perrin and what he's saying to the group on the hunt. So this is going to be really interesting. But I think there's two other wider kind of reasons and kind of plot devices for which this is going to be really interesting, and I think that's obviously evolved around Perrin, and I think they're really going to, I hope at least, make a much greater effort in the second season to expand him as a character, his overall story arc, because in season 1 he was for me personally, the most underdeveloped character in that entire first season, to a point where he wasn't even relevant at all, really. Everything that happened could have happened without him being there, and I don't want that to happen in this second season and moving forward. I think we need to start to establish the Perrin that we all know from the books, and I think ELYAS is going to be one of those key kind of central characters that revolve around Perrin, because as you know, in the book series, a lot of our kind of main ensemble have characters that are very much important for them personally in terms of their growth and their acceptance for their kind of parts and roles in the grand scheme of things within the books, and what the kind of job Rand has to do. And I think obviously that's going to be the case with ELYAS moving forward into the second season. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they go about that with Perrin, with this, introduction of ELYAS. How much screen time they're going to give these two characters in terms of them being together, how much time they're going to be able to develop this whole notion of what a wolf brother is, because that was a very much, I think, intentionally underdeveloped, story point from the first season. They left, hints and teasers here and there, but they weren't, I don't believe, super obvious if you're not looking out for them per se. Like, for example, during the scene in the waves, Perrin says, what's that up ahead? I can't remember the exact words, but I think it was to do with them getting to the next guiding stone along their way to the Faldara Waygate. So that's what I think was kind of left a bit ambiguous and really not in your face. Hello, this is a kind of ability that Perrin has of now being a wolf brother. And I think all these sorts of abilities that he has is going to be greatly explored a lot more deeply in the second season. And so yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. I could be completely wrong in terms of how they will be introducing him. Maybe he's just going to be someone they meet along the ways and doesn't actually interact in the way that I've suggested he could be. But I do believe what I have said is the most plausible route in terms of how they will, handle this character and handle how important he is to Perrin as he grows and matures and takes control of his destiny, for want of a better word, because of course he's got a major, role to play in this turning of the wheel. So yeah, really interesting. Right everyone, so I'm going to end the video here. It's nice to be getting back into the swing of things, and hopefully I will be producing a few more videos later on this week. I really want to get out one particular video where it's super late in the day, I know, but I want to just kind of give my kind of, in a sense, review of what worked, what didn't work in that first season of the Wheel of Time. So yeah, look out for that later in the week, and I will catch you all then.